How's it going, guys? Good afternoon. My name's Derek Stockleben. I'm here with Matt Andren, and today we are going to talk to you about the new announcement that we had yesterday, this Force airplane called the Aire-Batix. This airplane is a Force branded airplane, which is a Horizon Hobby exclusive plane. So, Matt, you worked on this project for quite a while. It's exciting to get it to market. We were flying it just last week, and It flies really great. So, tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, the Aire-Batix here, it's basically a fairly simple 4-channel sport plane. As you can see, it's a high-wing airplane, very robust airplane. It has a very solid feel to it. Got a nice thick wing, solid fuselage, but both the fuselage and wing are hollow, so it keeps the weight really light. Gives really good performance. It's got a really good power system. You can do aerobatics with it, of course, by the name. But you can, it has enough power to hover and even climb vertically with a simple 3S 2200 battery. So that makes it really nice there. For takeoff and landing, the gear is really far forward, and that makes it extremely stable. Doesn't want to nose over at all, even in some pretty rough grass. So great for parks or if you have a rough flying field.
Very cool, very cool. And that's aluminum landing gear, right?
Yes, yeah, two-piece aluminum landing gear, just bolts to the bottom of the airplane there, and you can see it's pretty stout. It's a tough gear, so. Yeah,
that's great. That's great, especially for people who are, just trying to get into aerobatics or, flying it, like you said, in a field or even in some rougher terrain. The aluminum landing gear really holds up.
Absolutely.
Another great thing about that is, it takes a relatively standard size little axle there, so you can add some different, maybe bigger Tundra tires to it.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Something like the Timber tires would be ideal. It's a 3mm bolt axle, and that wheel fits right on there with no modifications, so it makes it really easy to swap out for larger, bush type style wheels if you want it.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Couple other things about it. The most obvious thing is the scheme on it. I'll tilt it up here. Maybe Mary can get a little better shot of that. But the scheme is very cool. I know this is something that you worked on. The bright yellow really, really stands out in the sky.
Oh, yeah. It pops really good. There's not really a lot on the underside of the wing. If somebody wanted to add some black vinyl stripes or something for even better contrast, you can. But having the really bright yellow with the black contrast really helps top from bottom orientation with the airplane.
Exactly, exactly. Speaking of the top of the airplane, on the top here, so this is actually a two-piece wing. So for 3 screws with a Phillips head, pop those out, and it comes out in 2 pieces, and it's very, very easy to transport.
Yeah, it fits in just about any car. I can fit it in my pickup truck in the passenger seat with no problem. So
that's awesome. Awesome. So on the motor on it, you said it has plenty of power. So that's a 15 size.
Yeah,
motor?
About a 15 size brushless motor. I believe it's a 880 kV, and again uses a 40 amp controller. And then with a standard 2200 battery, you get great performance and good flight time, about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how hard you are on the throttle. If you're doing more touch and goes, you'll get longer flight times, of course. But if you're into the power, it'd probably be about 6 to 8 minutes.
That's good. That's good. That's actually a pretty good flight time. So I have my phone here. We're taking questions. I got Kyle back here watching YouTube. So if you have any questions or any comments on this, go ahead and drop them in on YouTube or Facebook. We'll answer them. I'll try to catch them on here. If I don't catch them, we'll come back later and be able to answer a few of them. So moving on, a couple other things about this. You'll notice maybe on the front of the wing here, it has LEDs, so it has wingtip lights.
Yep.
So you got the red on the front there toward the
camera,
and then the green back here. And that's actually really nice for, kind of this time of year where we're here till 5 o'clock, and a lot of us are kind of getting our last flights in around 5, and it's starting to get dark. So the LEDs are great for orientation. They look really, really cool in the air, too.
Yeah, especially when it starts getting dusk. It doesn't have like a full set of lighting, so wouldn't obviously recommend it for like night flying or anything like that. But as it gets dark, you can definitely see them, and it really just gives another element to the plane that's really neat.
I'm going to go to my phone here. Tom's asking for prop size. It's
a 12/8 prop. Yep. So like I said, good power, good performance. You can see it has quite a bit of ground clearance. You have a long way to go before you even prop strike or anything like that. So again, it's good for those rough kind of grass fields.
Very cool. The price point on this, that's something that I don't believe has been asked yet, but the price point is something that's really, really great on this. So it's plug and play, so it doesn't have a receiver.
Correct.
But for $149.99, so $150, you get this. The wingtip lights are included, 1.4 meter, really durable, like you had said, airframe.
Exactly.
What kind of receiver would you recommend putting in something like this?
I always like the AR636. You could program AS3X into it, add some gains to make it even more stable. If you want just a regular receiver, anything down to even an AR400 4-channel receiver, a 610, anything like that would work for non-stabilized receivers. So you have a lot of options there.
Very cool. The battery said a 3S 2200. Could it take something a little larger? 3S 32?
Yeah, up to about a 3200. The battery bay isn't very deep, so you can't do tall batteries, but something like a 3200 that has a fairly flat form factor will fit in there very nicely. And because the battery bay is just right in front of the wing, it doesn't change the CG a lot, so even a slightly larger battery isn't going to make it nose heavy, and you can still do good aerobatics with the airplane.
That's something that's also really great about this is having that battery bay on the bottom. It has a nice plastic door to it, so it's a nice positive click when you turn it over and click it in. That battery's going to be really secure in there. You don't have to worry about really it's pretty tight. Like even if that Velcro is not perfectly tight, it's not going to be sliding around anywhere.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a lot of room to move forward and aft, so you really can't change the CG even if it does shift slightly in the bay. I mean, it's only going to move about maybe half an inch to an inch, so not a lot of adjustment there for CG. So, but again, the airplane is very lively. Very good inverted performance. The airfoil semi-symmetrical, so it really does a good job of aerobatics. The rudder is incredibly powerful. I mean, knife edge all day long. Hammerheads are great with it. I kind of maxed out the throws on this one for the video, so you can check that out and see kind of what it can do. But it can kind of go from mild to wild if you want, depending on how you set up the airplane.
Very cool. Yeah, the video he's referring to you can find on the Facebook page, Horizon Hobby Facebook page, and it's also on YouTube too. So if you want to see some of it in action, we're not going to be able to get out there today, but that video is available. If you have any questions, drop them on there. Kyle, I don't know if we have anything on YouTube.
Yeah, any FPV options?
FPV options. So it doesn't have anything dedicated as an FPV option, but really you can put FPV on anything. So FPV, it is a hobby. So if you want to grab a camera and put it up here with some sticky tape or kind of lay it into the foam or in this plastic here, just power it with an external power source, as you can probably obviously bridge it off of the primary battery too.
Exactly.
So,
and if you had to, you could even put a small hole and go in between the two wing halves, so you have a nice clean line going inside the fuselage. You could even mount the camera on top of the wing to this little plastic plate, so you have a really solid, secure mount that's really integral part of the airplane, so it's not bouncing around, and you get a nice solid view.
Exactly, and that'll be high enough too, so you're not looking through the prop the whole time. Probably,
exactly.
So.
Yeah, you'd get minimal prop view if you mounted it up on top, and again, it's right on the CG, so it's not going to change that, so you probably wouldn't even notice it in flight.
Yep. Any other questions?
A couple on Facebook. Is the foam easy to repair? Ready?
Yeah, it's typical EPO foam, so just about, literally almost any type of adhesive will fix it. Everything from hot glue, CA, epoxy, Gorilla Glue, you name it. We've used it all on this stuff, and it'll take anything for repair. So it's really easy to repair. Again, because it's a high wing, you don't tend to ding the wingtips as much. And again, with the durable gear, you're not going to worry about nosing over and damaging the nose of the airplane or anything like that.
Exactly. Yep. No bind to fly. No, this is not bind to fly. It'll be plug and play. So you have to purchase the receiver separately, as Matt said. There's a couple different options there. So we can, and I believe if you go to like parts and accessories on the product page, there'll be a couple of receivers there listed that you can add. Spectrum receivers, 6-channel, 4-channel. It is only a 4-channel, so any 4-channel receiver would work. So, anything else?
Just another question. Can you use a larger battery? I think you guys covered that.
Yeah, we covered that up to roughly like a 32. If it's relatively flat pack, it has depth from front to back on the pack. There's plenty of room there. Anything a little fatter or wider, you may not be able to get the door closed. So 32 is probably a good size on that.
I mean, the good thing is the battery door being plastic is thin. It's not like a foam hatch. It's about half an inch thick, so you can pretty much go right up to the battery door. So it gives you a little bit more room there as well.
Yep, great. So we pretty much covered almost everything on this airplane. If there's any more questions, I see Alex is asking grass takeoff. So yes, that's something that we talked about early in the live. It does take off of grass really well. The aluminum landing gear, it does stand really high off the ground, so you're not going to have to worry about getting that prop in the front there. And you can also add Thunder tires to it too. So
yeah, and again, because the gear is so far forward, it really prevents nose over on those rougher fields, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, hold a little up elevator until you start getting some speed, and it takes off no problem, and then on landing it doesn't want to nose over at the end like you see a lot of, like a lot of the World War II warbirds, because the gear is in a very scale location, that last little bit always tends to end up on its nose in grass, even nice manicured grass, but this thing, no problem, even on rough stuff. So
Perfect.
When can we expect these?
We can expect these by the end of the month. We expect them to be here probably around the end of February. So we are having a pre-order period right now. So if you check it out on horizonhobby.com, you'll actually notice that we are going to be giving away a free battery with this with pre-order. So only during the pre-order period, we will give you a free Kinexus 3S 2200 battery, which is about a $20 value. So if you pre-order, you're actually going to be saving about $20 on a battery, and add it to your own collection of batteries, or really get you going right off the bat. So
yeah, everybody can use 2200 3-cells. They work in just about everything.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, they're very common batteries, but you can always have one more brand new out of the box. So if we don't have anything else,
Did you guys show the battery bay at all? We have some.
want to ask about the battery bay?
Yeah, we can go ahead and tilt it up here.
Tilt it up over.
So you can see it's got a little clip there, so it actually locks it very securely, and then 2 tabs to open it, and then it's hinged at the front, so you can't lose the battery tray in like a field or anything like that. So it's actually physically attached to the airplane, and the 2 clips, it clicks in, and then the little tab makes sure it isn't going to open in flight. So very secure, and you can see it's vented, so it allows the battery to stay cool in flight on a hot summer day when you're really pushing the airplane.
Yep. There is another question on here. How stable is it in slow flying?
It actually does pretty well. I mean, because it's a semi-symmetrical airfoil, it's not going to handle like a trainer, like something like an apprentice, so it's going to fly a little bit faster than that. But because of the the kind of high angle of attack you can bring it in on, it's a fairly slow-flying airplane. But again, it's more fun to kind of blast around the sky with it. That's kind of what it's intended for. But it has a wide envelope. It's a fun plane to fly. It's a good, simple, again, 4-channel plane. You can make it mild with reducing the throws or adding dual rates to your transmitter, or you can go wild and crazy and really have some fun with it.
Yep. And I think most of our time spent on it has been, fast and wild, so it's been...
Exactly. You want to do the nice, slow, calm stuff. We have other products that, something like a Timber is great for the low and slow. This thing's definitely intended to have some fun and go out there and rip it around.
All right. I'm not seeing a whole lot of more questions, so I think we're going to wrap that up here for today. If you check out horizonhobby.com and the Force collection of airplanes, you'll find this here. Pre-order in the next couple weeks before it starts shipping, and you'll receive a free battery when it ships out. That's it for us.
Yep.
I'm Derek Sockleben with Matt Andrew talking about the Force Aire-Batix. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.